Hello, BookTube. This is my May TBR. I have quite a few books that I've been meaning to get to, that I've been looking forward to rereading, and some books that I want to give some final chances to. So let's get going. So the first thing I'm going to read in May, and I've already talked about this with last weekly reads, is Tomb of Sand by Geetanjali Shree, translated by Daisy Rockwell. This is a novel set, at least at first, during the partition of India and Pakistan, and I think it goes a little bit further beyond that. I've been wanting to read it for, well, I haven't exactly had it all that long. It's less than a year since I've added it to my collection, but I would like to get to it, and it was part of my 12 TBR, and the last of the ones that I really want to get to, and I already talked a bit about that. So yeah, so I'm going to get to Tomb of Sand first. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, I think I'm going to get to them as the mood takes me, which means that I may not get to as many as I would like, or I might add a few others because I do have some other ideas I would like to do for May as well, which I'll get to at the end. So for Historathon, I would like to get to these three, at least. I would like to reread China's Cosmopolitan Empire, The Tang Dynasty by Mark Edward Lewis. So this is a short history of the Tang Dynasty. I read this years ago and quite enjoyed it. And this was one of those books that I really would have, I really wanted to add to my collection, and I did about a year or so ago. But I haven't gotten back to it, so I'd like to do a reread of this. I also just hauled last month The Troubled Empire, China and the Yuan and Ming Dynasties by Timothy Brook. This is, again, a short history of China, this time focusing on the Yuan and Ming dynasties, which I would like to get to. And it does cover this batch of Historathon. So, to recap Historathon, Historathon is a reading event created by Revenant Reads and featuring a number of co-hosts in which participants read historical nonfiction over the course of the year. It's broken down into quarters based on time period. So the first quarter was basically the beginnings of human history in 4 to 500 AD. The second quarter, which we are now in, is 500 to 1500. And then I'm not entirely sure what the third and fourth quarters are going to be, like the exact time period breakdown, because it's going to be considerably shorter than the thousands of years and thousand years. So anyway, but I'm sure Ben and other co-hosts will clarify that. And also the third of the Historathon books I would like to get to is The Mongol Storm, Making and Breaking Empires in the Medieval Near East by Nicholas Morton, which I've been wanting to get to for a bit. I did it late last year. Was it earlier this year? I can't remember. Anyway, I would like to get to this book as well. Other history I would like to get to are two books that I hauled last month. I wish I'd gotten to this one earlier, and that is Assyria, The Rise and Fall of the World's First Empire by Eckart Frahm. Now, this is a history of Assyria that I wanted ever since I first heard about it, and quite happy to have it, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I do have a sweet tooth for ancient Near Eastern history, which this is. And I would also like to read the Chile Project, the story of the Chicago Boys and the downfall of neoliberalism by Sebastian Edwards. So this is about the Pinochet dictatorship in Chile and how his economic policies were influenced and directed by a school of economics that pretty much formed neoliberalism, and its after effects have been contentious, to say the least. And I'll talk a bit more about that when I get to the Chile project. Myself, personally, I think the neoliberalism was a disaster. But anyway, so that's the history. Although there are a few works of history that are coming out this month, one of which that I'm probably going to be getting today, that I might also try to get to before the end of the month. But anyway, I don't know. Depends on my mood. So the next batch of books are more booktube related. Of course, I mean, Historiathon was booktube related too, but these are other booktube events. So Steve Donahue has started a book club called the Steve Tiberius Donahue Book Club, or Book Club STD. And this month, Book Club STD is reading the letters of Elizabeth Bishop. I don't have that collection, and I'm not particularly all that interested in actually going out and getting it, but I do have the poems of Elizabeth Bishop, and I haven't gotten on with her work. I've had this collection for about 2 years. Yeah, it's been 2 years because I picked it up in late 2020, I think. And in a few months it'll be 3 years, but for now it's 2 years. And I've had 2 goes at this collection, and I haven't gotten on with Elizabeth Bishop's work. There are maybe about 3 or 4 poems of hers that I like. So I want to give this collection one more go, and I thought maybe reading this during the month of May when Steve's talking about her letters might be a good impetus to try to have a better reading experience of this collection. And if not, it'll be on the next batch of boxes going to donation or something. Anyway, so May is also May of the Moderns, which is a reading event put on by Margaret Pinard and others, in which participants read works written in the early 20th century. So I've got quite a few. The other 3, though, are going to also correspond with Horror Mayhem. So I'm going to read The Nile by Emile Ludwig. This is an old work of nonfiction that looks at the Nile. I've had this for, I want to say probably more than a decade. I want to say I picked this up from St. Edward's when I went there. So I've probably had this for 15 years or more. Because they used to have a, like once a year, they would like de-access some books, and I guess professors and others would donate some books. And so they just put a number of books out on carts, and you can pick them up as you would. Because that's also where I got The First World War by John Keegan. So I'd like to get to this month because I've had it forever and I have not gotten around to it yet, so I really need to. So the next 3 books are all part of May of the Moderns as well as Horror Mayhem. So first up is Uncharted Seas by Dennis Wheatley. This is a horror science fiction novel about people, about a mysterious island made of kelp in the Sargasso Sea. It was filmed in the 60s by Hammer. And I'd always wanted to read this, and it's about time I do. I'm also want to get to The Black Stranger and Other American Tales by Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard is most famous for his Conan stories, but he wrote a slew of other works as well. And I've had this for quite a while, and I've never made the commitment to actually read the entire, like this book, so I really want to. And I would like to have another go at The Return of the Sorcerer by Clark Ashton Smith. This book was my introduction to Clark Ashton Smith. I love his work, but my last reading of this book last year, I think, I wasn't entirely happy with. So I'd like to have another go at it and maybe have a better experience. And I would also like to get to some manga. I will get to more manga than just what I'm showing here. I just hauled 2 volumes, but I'm kind of weird about reading stuff before I haul them, and I need to get over that. But I'll talk about them when I do decide to read them. So anyway, but I would like to get to Naruto by Masashi Kishimoto. So I read the first 2 volumes a few weeks ago, and I didn't get on with the first volume, which is typical for me. I've read the first volume of Naruto several times, and not the most recent, but the one before that. That reading was really good. And I'm not happy with my last reading, so I'm going to reread Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then get to 3 through 6. And hopefully I have a better experience with it. We shall see. So anyway, Naruto is one of the most popular manga in the world. It's about a young man named Naruto Uzumaki, who is initially a trainee ninja in the Hidden Leaf village, who wishes to become Hokage, the leader of the village, because he is the town pariah. Once he graduates, after being fooled into stealing a top secret scroll, he joins a team of apprentice ninja under the tutelage of the legendary Kakashi, and they go on adventures. I've liked Naruto quite a bit, particularly the later volumes of Naruto, but I really would love to read the entire series, so I'm going to do it. I would also like to read the first 8 volumes of Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic by Shinobu Ohtaka. So this series is one that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and I have been picking up the series, although some volumes, particularly in the teens, are rather hard to come by, which is annoying. But anyway, so Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic is about a young wizard named Aladdin, who journeys the world, a world inspired by the 1001 Nights, looking for friends and adventure. He meets a young man named Alibaba, who is a bit of a thief, a bit of a ne'er-do-well, and together they go on adventures, and those adventures become more and more epic. It's been a while since I've read the first few volumes, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to them. And I would also like to read the first omnibus of One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, or Eiichiro Oda. So One Piece is one of the most popular manga in the world. It is one of the longest running manga series. It's a phenomenon. It's about a young man named Luffy who wants to become king of the pirates. And through a long adventure, so far, I don't think One Piece has reached 120 volumes, but it's getting close. Certainly, it's getting close. That he just has wonderful adventures. I've read some of One Piece before and quite liked it, and I'm really looking forward to deep diving into the series. So that's my plan. So outside of these books, um, there are some manga that I've just hauled that I would like to get to, and more manga that I would like to read that I'll talk about when I decide to read them. I have some history coming in that I might like to get to. So yeah. And of course, I'm always free to change my mind if I want to. So anyway, BookTube, that's my May TBR. I don't know if I'm going to have a video up tomorrow. My mom has an appointment. So I'll probably be going there, or she might, I don't know. I'm waiting for a phone call to see whether or not she actually has to go in. And if she doesn't, then I'll make a tag video or something. And if she doesn't, there won't be a video, at least around the normal time. I might do a later one depending if there's like a quick tag or anything. Then Wednesday I'll do a video. Thursday, I don't know. Depends. I'm thinking I might finally get around to actually donating the 4. You've seen 3. The 4th is just puzzles and magazines of like donation boxes for a local friends at the library. Because they're just languishing out in the living room and they really need to go to a new home. But anyway, BookTube. And then Friday, of course, will be Friday Reads. And if there are any other videos that I want to make, I do want to do a video that looks at the poetry that I've read over the past few months to kind of get a better handle on that. So anyway, BookTube, that's all I got for now. So until I see you next time, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.